Welcome everyone. This is an incredible opportunity that I have with Pamm today. An incredible individual. We've been working together now for a couple of months, and I wanted to leap at the opportunity to interview Pamm. Her depth and level of expertise in the fields of hypnotherapy, soul psychology, the list goes on and on and on. So what I'd love to share with you today is this interview where we're going to be talking about, the art of manifestation. We're going to be talking about health and well-being, alignment, soul expression, and whatever else wants to move its way forward into the conversation with us today, Pamm. Welcome. Great to see you.
Thank you, Matt. Yes, we never know what's going to come out of this now.
No. That's exciting. That's exciting. Well, I feel the obvious place to start is around the story, how it all began for you. This journey, this empowering journey that you're on, helping people to reclaim themselves, their highest potential, their health, their sovereignty, but also to break out of these matrix-like belief systems and structures that keep them bound and imprisoned in lower vibrational sort of lifestyle. So where did it all start for you?
I guess in retrospect, that it was probably around when I was 3, for goodness sake. It wasn't until I grew up a little bit and looked back that I realised that I think I was a bit of a precocious child, and people would diss me a lot. So I would get angry with them, and then I'd recognise that they were getting ill and things were happening, and I thought, oh my goodness, there's something about this power behind the energy that I have towards them. So I vowed and declared to be a happy girl and not send my anger outwards. Really didn't work because I became a victim, but that was another story. That was the way that I learned or honed the diamond that I am. And I loved sort of reading fairy stories, Hans Christian Andersen fairy stories. So I recognised that too, that the magic in the fairy stories, the imagination in the fairy stories just used to take me away from what was going on in my life, which was a little bit of abuse, etc. And I just got lost in them. I was a bookworm. But the best thing was that I had an Uncle Charlie, and Uncle Charlie was a magician, and I wanted Uncle Charlie's magic wand so much. I wanted to make the old man down the street who's coughing, who's probably drunk, but anyway, I wanted to make him better. I wanted to help my mother's car start, because we used to have to say the rosary to get it started, and she'd crank it and crank it and crank it. And I knew that if I could get hold of Uncle Charlie's magic wand, I could make everything right. What's more, I wanted a swimming pool. And, Uncle Charlie's, he eventually died, and I had first dibs on his magic wand. Well, I think I actually had it in my hand for a while, and I tried to make it unfold and fold up and do things, but I didn't have quite get it right. Before, my cousin claimed it because he had been working in Uncle Charlie's garden, and it was given to him instead of me. I was devastated. But that yearning to create magic for people, to heal them, to make things right, it just stayed with me. And it took a long time. That something took me to hypnotherapy, and that was really because I wanted to have something on the wall, because I knew that I had a gift in working with energy. But I do feel like I have that magic wand now, and that takes me probably to how a lot of people at the moment are looking at manifesting. They do their dream boards and all of that sort of thing. And I was looking at something just this morning, actually. I opened my book on Ascended Masters, and Sai Baba was right on the page. Now, Sai Baba still lives, doesn't he? he hasn't died yet, has he?
Yes, yes, he has. Yeah.
He manifests just by mere thought, just instantly. And it got me to thinking about how we manifest. You know, he manifests because he is in that place of unconditional love, and he's highly spiritual and connected to his higher self, his God self, as I call it.
Mm-hmm.
And we have many, many people manifesting their lives every day, because every moment of every day we are creating. Now, we are creating either a destructive energy around us, drama, trauma, or we're creating renewal. And we might be trying to manifest a new house or a new car or something like that. The idea is, if we are in a place of ego, if we're in a place of darkness, we will be manifesting a lot of trauma, a lot of illness for ourselves. So my whole purpose has changed around to looking at that energy that created us in the first place, that pure source energy, and how that same very energy creates our health, creates our life, creates our peace, creates our love, creates our calmness, creates our connection with others. I see this whole world as an orchestra. We're all playing a tune, or we're all playing our instruments. Some of us are in tune and some of us aren't. And the reason for my being is to help people find the tune of their own instruments, because they might be an oboe and I might be a violin. We can't work from the same piece of music. We need to play the tune and hold the tune for those that are out of tune until such time as they learn their music. So I guess, yes, I love that metaphor of the orchestra, because we are connected with that beautiful resonance of pure source energy, and that's the tune that holds the love that we are connected with and by. And that pure source energy is the God self, the expression of the God self. And that comes through the heart, and learning through the heart, and bringing the light through the heart, and breathing through the heart turns the neural pathways on in the mind, which can then discover a whole new set of possibilities. So, you know, that saying, no challenge can be resolved through the same level of thinking as it was created. When we can connect with our love and our pure source energy, our God self, that naturally turns on all the hormones and chemicals within our body to bring us back to homeostasis, that natural place of health. But it also lights up our brain and our mind, so we can see new possibilities, new solutions. And I guess I could talk forever, Matt. Have you got any other questions?
This is great. This is really, really good. And it's laying a beautiful foundation for the conversation. And you've dropped so many pearls all the way through that share just then, from Uncle Charlie, your realization you didn't need the wand, you were the wand. And this, I won't say dualistic, there's this beautiful masculine and feminine approach that, you know, the altruistic of wanting to help and to help others transition to a place or return to healing, return to oneness within themselves, but also this intrinsic view of what do I want to experience in the world, and where do I find my center and my joy? And you segued into breathing through the heart. So would you like to share a little bit more about that and its relationship to health or manifestation as such?
Oh, okay, I can do that. A while ago, after listening to Bruce Lipton, actually, and his really wonderful work with microbiology and the cellular structure and how we can change that cellular structure by our intent, it really got me thinking about the environment that we live in, and our environment of our cells, and the environment of our intent. So with that, I studied heart math, because heart math has a technology, and this brought in the scientific side of it for me to use with my patients, something that I could actually demonstrate the difference they can make inside their body at their heart rate variability level. It's not the pulse, it's the timing between the pulse. Very fit people come back to their good heart rate variability. And what that does for the body, it turns on all the happy hormones like the DHEA, and it sends the cortisol levels, which is the stress levels, down. So it's been proven to me and to my patients on my computer screen what a difference they can make when they let go, when they start to connect with their absolute love. Of course, I do a bit of self-forgiveness and connection with the inner child and things like that. But when they can connect with that beautiful love that is their birthright and breathe it through their lungs, through their heart, they can actually change the chemistry in their body. So my idea here is that if we can all do that, we can actually change our cellular memory, old cellular memory that goes back over the ancient times, because our soul itself is what comes forth when we start to breathe in love and unconditional love and forgiveness and really focus on all the positive emotions. That will change our chemistry, and that will also change the dynamic energy of our past. Our soul comes forth, and we have a wisdom of eternity that we can actually bring through for the help and the service of the planet, of our fellow human beings, of health in general, of anything that we want to manifest, really. And it can, as there is no time, and this is another conversation.
Yes, it is indeed.
Everything exists in our mind, because mind is what creates the form of energy, which is a spiritual essence, into matter. So all is about the way we think, and our emotions are just the gift for us to actually recognize, are we in a place of renewal, or are we in a place of destruction? Is our physical being healing itself, or is it eating away at itself? Our emotions are there for us to know, okay, here I am feeling angry at somebody down the road because they egged my letterbox. So I'm going to sit and think, where is this anger coming from? Okay, it's a powerless thing. Anger is powerlessness. So I can feed that anger with the power of my self-love and allow myself to accept that, okay, that person has got some need that's not being met. So that person is also on the journey playing an instrument really out of tune, but those needs that are the basic needs of humanity have been distorted and not met at their basic level of being as an infant. So behaviours, bullying, all comes about from those experiences that we were not able to rationalize as children. So they are experienced as a pattern of energy that sets up in our amygdala and our brain in a skewed way. And sometimes we will grow, and we've got all sorts of patterns going on there that are resourceful, and some are unresourceful. So the unresourceful ones are the ones that create havoc and destruction, either internally or externally. It's what we think. And the process of becoming aware and learning about ourselves is really about finding out what are those patterns of destruction we hold within ourselves. Everyone has them, because it's all based on an emotional response that couldn't be rationalized as a child most of the time, or it's come through in our genetic structure. but that's not a problem.
No.
The needs need to be met. I mean, we have needs of security, and we have needs of variety and being significant and having a love and connection with ourselves, really. If we learn that our love and connection is by abuse, well, then we have a whole pattern set up for getting relationships of abuse. So I could go on forever. I'm just stopping for a minute.
It's good. It is so good. Rich in pearls. Again. What you've touched upon, Pamm, are the fundamentals, so the foundational, the roots of our anti-being, or the structure that feels like it's working against us in our ability to manifest health or divine relationships or financial abundance, whatever it is. Let me ask you this. If there was one simple technique that you use yourself with your clients that you could share with someone to bring greater awareness to their present state or their highest potential higher state, would you be open to sharing one of those with us?
Absolutely. It's very simple.
Good.
Every moment is a place of choice, and choice is empowerment. You can choose to go one way or the other, but ask yourself this: is this choice fear-based or is it love-based? If it's fear-based, it puts you on a path of destruction. If it's love-based, it puts you on a path of renewal. That's the simple fact. There are two ways of thinking: fear-based thinking or love-based thinking.
Love it. And it is a lot of the technology, spiritual practices, scientific approaches to things are really simple when you boil them down. It's just, do you apply them? Are you conscious of your behavior? Are you conscious of your thinking? Thoughts are things and words are wands, those axioms before. So that's really powerful. So in the pit of our dysfunction or unhappiness, we are to ask that question. In every moment I have a choice. My choice now is that coming from fear or is it coming from love? That's the suggestion there?
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Love it.
I had a client this morning who this stuff is really new to her, but she's just gone ahead, in a couple of hours by recognizing that two important facts: that each thought, to take your power back, to empower your life, each thought is fear-based or love-based, right? So she's got that as a benchmark to make her choices. And the other one was, let me see, it's gone out of my head. The other one was, of course, the one that I remind people of, which I think you've actually said yourself, the energy that created us, that pure source, beautiful, crystalline energy that created us, is the same energy that heals us. Mm-hmm. It is the same energy that we can live our lives by. It's the same energy we can use to be of service and to make a difference in our community and in our families. And if we can get in touch with that and make those changes within ourselves and become more aware, just by holding our light or being the apple that we are, whereas you're a banana, Matt, I'm an apple.
Yes.
Or the violin and the oboe, if we can be true to that uniqueness, that unique expression of that source energy, then we make a difference without opening our mouths. We are just holding that energy. And that energy has been measured scientifically 12 feet away from us, but honestly, it's been measured beyond that.
Yes.
Because where our thoughts flow, our energy goes. Where our thoughts go, our energy flows. So this is talking about distance healing as well. And we can go into that sort of area. It's a huge area, but really and truly, if you can hold your energy within a family environment that sometimes has a lot of trauma or drama around it, and you can hold your space and talk to yourself and say, hey, is this response fear-based or is it love-based? You can hold that light and you can make the difference. It's the pebble in the pond that ripples out and connects with the absolute love of the orchestra that you have around you.
Love it. So well said. So well said. And that brings up the analogy that I often used in one of my previous programs is stand under the street light. I'm talking about alignment. And so that the street light is that level of awareness you're talking about. So place yourself under the street light so that, you know, those fears or disruptions or sabotaging behaviors or even the thoughts and beliefs of others are illuminated visually when they enter your stream. You know, they are brought to light. So
correct.
On that point, what would you say to someone that says, I've done a lot, I've done meditation, I've done self-healing, I've done mirror work, shadow work, I've done hypnotherapy before, and I find myself at peace on my own, but the moment I walk into an environment where there may be hostility or conflict or trauma or past energy starting to emerge or erupt, they feel contracted again. They feel all the old wounds starting to rise. What would you say? What would you suggest to that person?
I would see those people as very giving people. I would see them as people that would be out there and being a little light in their community. But I would also see them as somebody who hasn't really practiced the art of protection. Because there are situations in life when, for instance, I went to an event yesterday, and there are so many different people that come to events and you're up close with them, and sometimes they are not holding a really good energy. This is me being an empath, an empathetic person. I can feel other people's energy, so I immediately know, okay, I need to give my energy system a quick wash and just form a golden light. I use a golden bubble. If I'm in a place where I find it's hard, when people are arguing or something and they're arguing the toss or being violent or something like that, I will ask my angels, I ask my Archangel Michael really to give me a quick bubble of protection, so that when I actually communicate with anybody that's in that space, my words are coloured with love. They're coloured with understanding. They're coloured with non-judgment. They're coloured with the knowledge that these people are all on their journey, and these people still have not learned how to tune their instruments. So it becomes a responsibility when you learn about your energy system, when you learn about giving service, when you learn about how powerful you are. The responsibility and the onus is on you.
Yes.
To really keep your light by protecting that energy. You don't have to put protection up every day if you're strong in that. But if you know that you're going to go to a place where you get pushed around. Some people go to work every day and there's a lot of politics at work, and they come back and they're stressed out to the max. The idea is to, fill themselves up with love and put a big bubble, a semi-permeable bubble, a golden bubble, a God bubble of protective energy, and then recognise when the behaviours of those people around them are affecting them. Because once it becomes like I've got to make it right for somebody, or I've got to change my own energy system to make it right for somebody, you're getting into attachments. So we have a connection with all these people. If we can keep the connection with the connection of golden love, light, and recognize the attachments, they can be cut away. They're like pieces of octopus legs, you know, that drain your energy. If you come home from work and you're drained from the day, which quite a few of my patients are, they learn about connecting to their higher self and cutting away the energy systems, looking at it as those strings of attachment. I guess an analogy would be, you know, it's a codependency at times with relationships. I was just mentioning that tennis match thing this morning, you know. If you've had years and years and years of having a tennis match with your mum, and, you know, there's backwards and forwards and frustration, and you're hitting that ball back every time she says something to you, and etc. If you just put the tennis racket down and don't hit the ball back, you've changed the whole dynamic. And it's the same at work, and it's the same in any environment, like, you know, at home with your partner. Just don't hit the ball back and cut the attachments away of being right.
Very, very true. Yeah, because we are attached to the relationships we have. And you know, some people I know through conversations I've had with them, very successful individuals, they feel guilt at the thought of cutting an ethereal cord or some sort of attachment, energetic attachment or entity, you could call it, and they feel guilty. They said, well, you know, I don't want to put other people through that abandonment scenario that I experienced as a child because of a decision. And it's the illusion of that game, isn't it?
That is an illusion, because you can cut attachments, but you'll never cut the love connection. And that is the gift in it, because, you know, I've got a son who I don't know where he is in the world. And all I can do is connect with his love center and cut any attachments to what's going on with him. That's the only way I can cope and keep myself healthy and wealthy and wise, and to let him, to feed his energy with love. I know that he's going to find his way.
Yes.
But if I was sitting here worrying about my son and worrying myself sick, I would be feeding him with darkness and fear-based energy. So I prefer to be a creative person. It's my choice, and
Beautiful.
That's the choice of, you know, being your
Beautiful.
God self.
Yes, and that's what you mentioned earlier about responsibility. Wholeheartedly agree on that. So as as we wake from our slumber, we stand upright from our stupor and we step forward into our highest potential and our highest crystalline form of love as an enlightened being, then we do have a responsibility to help other people calibrate, not to do it for them, but the very presence of you, the very nature of your being and the work that you've done actually helps to light the room up, to charge those particles, that field of potential around others. And it is going to reveal some home truths sometimes that may not be entirely comfortable, but necessary.
It's called unconditional love.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So let's segue as we begin wrapping up this interview. It gives me goosebumps just engaging with you in this way. Is when we first met, there was a very significant alignment in worldview, in cosmological purpose and mission and vision. Would you like to share that deepest aspect of you, your reason for being here, the work that you're doing and the vision that you have for humanity and Gaia?
Oh my goodness, Matt, you might make me cry. I really care for the planet to the depths of my heart and soul. I look and I see what's going on out there. It's like the planet is an organism, just like our body, and we've got all these boils on it, and there's these wars going on, and there's deforestation, and there's fires, and there's it's sort of responding in that way at the moment with shakes and earthquakes and volcanoes and things like that. I sort of see it as a symptom of a deeper cause, and the thing that why it is and what it is that puts me in where I work and talking about love and unconditional love and creation and manifestation. It's, I see the people that get the message about love-based thinking, fear-based thinking, once they've got that message that they're here to serve, that we're all here to serve, that we're here to save the planet and create heaven on earth. Now, if we're creating heaven in our own environment, our body, our mind, our soul, our spirit, we're creating heaven. It's rippling out. It's having that ripple effect. There are a lot of people working with love energy in the world at the moment, and this is what we're creating, a heaven on earth. That's the whole plan. It's a higher plan to create a planet that is just ideal place to experience love, experience peace, experience connection, experience all those things that are our birthright, that we've gone astray from because of our experiences and the old conditioning, mass conditioning, our old ways of learning. For instance, the medical profession, I look at that and I see wonderful minds being trained to dish out antidepressants, to dish out all sorts of medication to people. Pills don't make you well. They're not a cure. I have had children in my clinic here that have been on antidepressants at 6 years old. I might cry. It really is such a waste. We need to all learn about our self-empowerment, to our self-responsibility and our God self, so that we can keep well without medication. It's intoxicating. It toxifies our body and our mind. Metaphysically, we'll take cancer, for instance. Now, metaphysically, they would say that cancer is a lack of empowerment, a lack of self-empowerment, and it's turned inwards, like anger turned inwards. And it's just gross darkness instead of light. So it's really important that we recognize every emotion that we have, because those emotions are the gift in helping us to be well. The emotions are calling out for love. The fact that we might get hurt by what somebody says is just an emotion that needs attention. It's that child within that says, hey, I don't feel loved when you say that or you do that. I feel bullied by that, or I've set up a pattern because I really strongly believe that I'm worthy of being bullied or abused. So we go back to the patterns then. It's those moments when you feel out of your center that you need to stop and ask, what do I need? I need love. And every human being on this planet needs love. Love creates health. Antidepressants don't create health.
Yes.
We might as well be the ambulance at the top of the cliff, not the bottom.
Yeah. Love it.
So,
love it. The worldview that you have is inspiring. It's heart dilating, and it's real. It's tangible. And that's the message that I love hearing from you and being able to share with others, is that heaven on earth is a tangible. It's dialing into that potential that we all have, to come home. Yeah.
Thank you, Matt. That saying, that axiom comes up: the words of wisdom fall only on the ears of understanding.
Yes.
And I get you understand and that's beautiful.
Without doubt. Well, what a fantastic interview. So if you would like to connect with Pamm in any way, then I'll make sure that there are some contact details somewhere around this interview video, so you can reach out and connect with Pamm, potentially, you know, to work with her, or even to share some of her light with some of your community as well. So Pamm, thanks once again for your energy, your purpose, and the leadership that you exude in doing the work that you're doing. So big love to you.
Thank you.
Big love.
Great.
Yeah.